Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and today we're going to be tier 4ing Black Bolt. But before we do that, I want to rectify some errors in my previous Black Bolt video. First of all, in the previous video, I had used Miss Marvel Kamala Khan with her newest uniform. Therefore, she was not Inhuman. Therefore, we didn't even complete the dispatch challenge. A lot of people in the comments being like, is he trolling? No, guys, I'm on vacation. I'm not in MFF mode, as I am the majority of the time, and I just got distracted and forgot. Believe it or not, despite the way I sound, I am human. So yeah, just a quick mistake there, but easy fix. And as you can see, still 1 minute and 20 seconds at level 80, not even being tier 4. So this stage is 100% doable for the new Black Bolt with the existing Inhumans team. You can obviously sub out Miss Marvel's old uniform for Thane. I know he's a more expensive character, but if you don't have Miss Marvel built up, especially if you don't have her tier 3, if you have a tier 2 Thane with a CTP of Rage or a nice damage proc, he might actually end up doing more damage for your team than Miss Marvel does. However, so many of you hit me up and asked me, finally cleared it, if Black Bolt can do it with his old uniform. That's what a lot of people are wondering. Can I just take my Black Bolt to level 80, leave him as he is otherwise, and then clear this stage? So let's go ahead and find out. Hey, here we go. And with the old uniform, surprisingly, we got to cable faster. Again, I think there's a lot of RNG with this stage, so you will see some pretty drastic changes in time. This being faster does not mean that his old uniform is better than the new uniform. It just means that if the all defense down lines up correctly between Medusa and Black Bolt, and actually Miss Marvel has all defense down as well, then you can actually speed through this stage a lot faster. And on the flip side, if it does not line up at all, you may see this stage take a lot longer, but I don't see it taking more than 1 minute longer. So I still think that with really bad RNG, you can get this stage done with a level 78 or a level 80 Black Bolt with the old uniform. So pretty much confirmed at this point through testing, which is very good. So don't feel FOMO'd into buying the new uniform if you're just trying to complete stage 10-3. It is 100% completable. Again, that was fully on autoplay. So again, if you have less Pierce than I do, or if you have different builds, weaker builds, just manually play Black Bolt or manually play Medusa. Pay attention to the all defense down, so you're applying the larger number first. Especially with Black Bolt when it comes to, not letting 4 play out and then canceling it immediately into 6, because 6 applies a bigger all defense down percentage. That's very important. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, this is the old fill the cup all defense down strategy that we used to use in World Boss Ultimate. There's videos on that. Literally Google like Cynicalex fill the cup, stuff like that, all defense down. But essentially, with the old uniform here, he has minus 50%. That's the maximum, minus 50% on Royal Scream. But then he has minus 70% on Fury of the Midnight King. So if you apply 4 and then apply 6, 6 doesn't refresh from 50 up to 70. And believe it or not, there's a huge difference between 50% and 70%. Similarly, you can see that hers is only 50% on her ultimate, her 6th skill, Medusa. So that is not going to be as good as Black Bolt's ultimate. But the rest of hers are 50. So it probably actually doesn't have anything to do with Medusa. It probably just has to do with whether Black Bolt applies his 6th skill before these skills. But see, everything else is 50%. 50% here, 50% on her tier 3. So yeah, it really just depends on the old Black Bolt. But yeah, he can do it. And for those of you as well who mentioned that, level 72 didn't work because the villains were level 77, you can see there, you're absolutely right. So that's why I mentioned a level 78 or a level 80 Black Bolt should be able to clear this stage and get you that triple Inhumans quest. So now I'm done. Every single dispatch is now completed, 15 out of 15. Very, very nice. But anyways, that's not what we came here to do, baby. We came here to tier 4 Black Bolt. Now, for those of you wondering what his performance looks like in a bit more content, check out this stage 69 clear. Very nice. Stage 69 at level 80, which is fantastic. And again, he's doing this with a CTP of Rage. So for those of you who want to go even further, because Rage is not as good as Energy is, or like a Mighty Destruction or something like that, specifically for World Boss Legend. It might be better for GBR and stuff like that, but not as much for World Boss Legend. You can go even further. You can make it even easier if you were to give him a proc. And for those people that are saying that Black Bolt isn't proc friendly, although I'm probably going to keep the Rage on him for GBR and Alliance Battle Extreme and Alliance Battle Legend, he definitely can be proc friendly. What you want to do is cancel the 5th skill sooner. So you can instantly cancel 3 into something else and you'll still get those shocks. With 5, there's 2 parts, there's 2 portions where you can cancel. You can cancel after the first hit on the ground, or, and I canceled that into 3. Or you can cancel after he hits the ground and then he screams. So he's going to scream. So that's where a lot of people have been canceling with that scream. But that is going to make him not proc friendly. So the Rage rotation is 5 long delay cancel, or 3 long delay cancel 5 and then into 4. But with a proc, what you can do very easily is just 5, and then when he drops the ground, you can do 3, 4, or if you find that difficult, you can do 3, 5, and then when he lands, do 4. There are a small number of hits there on the 3 right at the beginning. So you can risk triggering the proc. So technically 5 delayed cancel, 3 cancel, 4 is going to be faster and it's going to be more consistent. But he's absolutely proc friendly if you do one of these rotations. And yeah, so with that being said, we've covered that. We've covered the PvE performance. Fantastic. Don't think he's got much PvP potential, especially only at level 80. We did tweak the build a little bit. We added 4 Odin's Blessings of Magic, so we pumped up his energy attack to 67,000, but I believe that's 67,000 with his own lead, so his base energy attack is 54,000. Now, we're going to do the all-important and all-painful quest of getting him to tier 4. So let's go ahead and do the skills first. We're doing our first tier 4 outside of the home base. The first foreign tier 4 of then the first inhuman tier 4 as well. Possibly the last. All right, we're going to take a quick note here. We have 11,000, basically exactly 11,000 Carbonadium and 11,000 Soul of the Faltine. For those of you wondering, I did spend money. I did purchase the tier 4 pack. You can see there it's been purchased. I did this for 2 reasons. One, I wanted tier 4 more characters. We have a backlog, Blue Dragon, Storm, Black Widow, you know, all the female tier 4s are still waiting for me. Gotta show them love eventually, and I can't catch up with the resources as they're currently being pumped out. And then I also needed the Halloween tokens for Morgan Le Fay's uniform. Not the most cost-efficient way of getting the tokens, but it worked out for me because we needed to, you know, hit 2 birds with 1 stone. So let's see if we can get some foreign luck here. Am I gonna scream in this hotel room? Am I gonna scream for Black Bolt? 11's really good. Okay, really good first gear. Very discounted first gear. Really, really nice. Okay, here comes the madness. Armor of Madness. The RNG here sways potentially so much that it's crazy. 22 is nice. Okay, we're still very much on track for a discounted tier 4. If we can keep these rolls at 20 or less, 20 is the average, right? So, yeah. Oh man. Oh, this is really good. Okay, 23. That's not bad at all because the one before that was 14 and 13. We're still on track. We've only spent, I know it's a lot, but we've only spent 3,000 on 3 gears. So we're only averaging 1,000 per gear. So unless we get hyper shafted on this one, we should be looking at a very discounted, nice. Last one here. Gorgeous. Oh my God. Gorgeous. We got so lucky on the gears. This is probably my cheapest tier 4 ever. That's crazy. So it only cost me 4,000 Carbonadium and 3,200 Soul of the Faltine. That's gotta be a record for the cheapest for me. That's bananas. And what I want you to focus on here is most of his stat bumps are pretty lame. Even his HP is not that high. It's only 25,000, which is, again, not a good indicator for PvP. But his energy attack goes up by 11,000. And that's before you factor in that he has a self-buffing leadership that you're always going to use. Boom, we got our tier 4. He's got one of the coolest tier 3 animations. Ah. And then he pulls up and he's like, shh. So swag for the Black Bolt, baby. Absolutely what he deserves. The Inhumans been way too shafted for way too long. We have a lot of experimentation to do with Black Bolt as well. Not only is he making waves as a like massive DPS god for PvE content, you know, more DPS than Iron Man, higher ABL scores, whatever. His striker ability is so weird, right? Increases final damage, whatever that means, and then changes striker character abilities to tier 4 character abilities. All abilities including stats, buffs, and types. What some people have been speculating online is that this confers any of the buffs that you get to that character. So I actually don't have... Thor would be the character that I would use here, but I believe I'm using Thor as someone else's striker. Yeah, this shouldn't be. Let me change this to Venom, and let me go over to Black Bolt and set Thor. So what some people are expecting or thinking, so you can see here 28 and 45, and then 30 and 50. That's kind of a big deal here. As you can see, it's 35, right? And then if you use the right one, you know, if you use someone like Icarus, it's 45. So the 5% on the final damage, it's kind of a lot, right? But what some people are suspecting is that the orange text at the top there, the changes striker abilities, buffs, and stats, means that whatever buffs Thor has, or whoever you put here, whatever buffs this skill has, will be passed to Black Bolt. So we can test this pretty easily. For example, Thena's is going to give a heal, a 20% heal. Does that apply to Black Bolt? Does he get a heal when he pops his tier 4? Or if we use Thor, is he going to get that heal plus that crazy buff, that 65% all attack, all defense, that 35% crit rate? And you can experiment with this by finding another more obscure buff, right? Or some more obscure effect that could, like for example, just increases all attacks sort of thing. Find something a little bit more obscure. Reflect, for example. Reflect has a very unique icon, plus it's not going to interfere with any of Black Bolt's existing buffs. It's not going to overwrite it or replace it or whatever. So we'll just do a quick little test here to see if Black Bolt gets Crescent's Reflect on that skill, that striker skill. Does that reflect then pile on to Black Bolt? If it does, he's going to be, in my opinion, the most interesting and the most customizable tier 4. Right, so we're here on stage 34 of Gore. By the way, he can do stage 34, as you can see from this screenshot, at level 80. So level 80 Black Bolt ripping through stage 69 of Null and stage 34 of Gore. Very strong performance from a tier 3. And in my opinion, since I've played them both, between level 80 Black Bolt with the new uniform and superior Iron Man, tier 4, right? Tier 4 Iron Man, superior Iron Man, not the Back to Basics one because that's a hero, not a villain. The Black Bolt uniform was not only easier to play than superior Iron Man because he doesn't get guard broken as much and you have the V-pad skill, but way tankier. Way tankier, way more tanky than Iron Man, at least the superior Iron Man. So anyways, let's take a look here. We're going to stomp this down and then run out with the 4th skill. I'm going to pop a little bit of 1 and 2. Okay, we want to build up that striker skill. And I do not see any reflect. I see the increases final damage. Did not see the reflect at all. We'll do it again here, and we'll pause to see if we can see the reflect buff. But from what I can see, okay, as soon as Crescent gets out of the way, yeah, we have the debuff. So for the buffs right there, we have all of the passive buffs, like the blue sword is increased damage to supervillains. The red sword, I believe, is decreased damage to supervillain received from supervillain, or maybe it's the universal ones. from Ebony Maw's passive. The blue and the red ones are all just like increase, decrease damage. The next one after that is probably like, it's like guaranteed crit rate or something like that, crit damage. And then the one over there is probably the chain hit damage with the fist. And then that yellow one with the 10 seconds is debuff immunity, which is from his Cosmic Awareness passive. And then he's got 3 seconds. It's kind of hard to see, but he's got 3 seconds on his iframe ignore. It's now 2 seconds on the iframe ignore. And then he's got 7 seconds on each of the 2 buffs from his tier 4, the increased final damage and the increased basic attacks. So it does not appear that the tier 4 skill is conferring the stats, the buffs, right? In this case, the iframe ignore from Crescent onto Black Bolt. And again, you can see there, he's got a whole bunch of buffs, right? There's the chain hit damage, there's the skill damage, bonus damage, but none of those buffs are reflect, right? And for those of you wondering, reflect is pretty easy to see. It's like yellow and it's got a little arrow that's bounced, and we can just go ahead and go back here. Again, we're gonna have to do way more testing to figure out exactly what this means, what tier 4, Black Bolt's tier 4 skill means. But just to show you guys what the reflect looks like here, that's what it looks like. No, that's accumulation, never mind. Where's the there's the reflect right there. It is that little arrow with the fist right there. Reflects 100%. So it should be a yellow buff next to the red buff that has 3 seconds on it and has the little arrow that's bouncing off. So that reflect buff, which is part of Crescent's 4th skill, which she's doing as a striker for Black Bolt, is not being applied to Black Bolt. So just to debunk that rumor, because I do think that rumor is setting unrealistic standards for how strong Black Bolt's going to be. The rumor being that the buffs from the tier 4 striker are going to apply to Black Bolt. I do not believe that to be the case. However, I can't give you a final verdict on that. Like 100% is not true until I do more testing. But we're going to do a bunch of other testing because as you can see, he ripped through that stage. We're going to push it to see just how far and how strong he is and how fast he can go with a full build here in the next video. So yeah, tier 4 Black Bolt, baby. Super discount. Hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know who you want to see tier 4 next. Is it finally going to be Black Widow? Is it going to be the only mutant? Or is it going to be Blue Dragon? Thanks so much for watching. Smash the like button, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.